Cricket 22 has finally come out. It's been advertised as the best cricket game ever. Is that true? Let's compare it with Cricket 19, the last installment of Big Ant Studios' cricket series. Cricket 19 was a solid game. Many loved it, some were fine with it, but I don't think anyone hated it. So it was a good game. How does Cricket 22 stack up? Let's find out. The first time I played Cricket 22, it felt more like Ashes 2017 than Cricket 19. I consider Ashes 2017 to be the best game made by Big Ant Studios, so I did love the similar feel. The lighting during day games in particular is near identical. Since I'm already talking about graphics, let's start there. Cricket 22 looks great, and not just for a cricket title. The jump between the last two games is pretty big. 19 looked good in certain sections, but sometimes it looked worse than Don Bradman 17. But 22 is the best looking cricket game, no questions asked. Finally, a cricket title where players don't look like sticks or kids, grounds look great as well. The few real life stadiums are accurate to their real life counterparts. Crowds still look a bit like posters on the wall, but it's not distracting or anything. The biggest improvement graphics wise is the lighting. I mean, previous cricket titles looked great during night games with lights bouncing off helmets, jerseys, and players resembled people. But during day games, everything looked flat. I mean, games that came out in the early 2010s looked better. But Big Ant Studios have improved a lot in that area. Player models look better, the game just looks superior in almost every aspect, which should always be the case with sequels, but there have been many sports games where the prequel looks and performs better than the sequel. WWE 2K19 and 20 for example. Cricket 19 is the odd one out among the last 5 games. It looks different than the rest, players are comically tiny, everything just looks arcadey, gameplay is pretty realistic, but the game definitely didn't go for realism like Ashes 2017 or 22 did. 19 has colors popping out everywhere, everything is shiny and bright. In fact, the game looks good enough, but I think 22 is clearly better. On the gameplay side of things, there aren't many big changes. Cricket 22 is a lot easier. The easy mode here offers no challenge. This is a great addition because many more casual players will start playing it, whereas previous games were basically like Dark Souls. I really don't think any sports games were as hard as Ashes 17 on the toughest difficulty. You can pretty much play any shot to any ball and still score runs here. Footwork doesn't matter, timing doesn't matter. So if you have never played any cricket games or haven't played any for some time, Cricket 22 is the perfect title to get back. Plenty of new animations have been added, batting stances and bowling actions have also been added, but the general gameplay feels very much the same. It does look slightly different though. Camera angles have been changed, but I think I like 19's camera angles better. 22's reminds me of EA Cricket 2004. Every time the ball went out to the outfield, it looks very similar. 22 has new gameplay mechanics like the direct hit minigame, which comes up fairly often. It's not just when a run out is possible. I found this to be slightly annoying after the first few hours. Cricket 19 of course didn't have this feature, but also fielding in general in that game was frustrating. 90% of the time players will run outside the boundary line with the ball in hand, and it's not like it was very close. Sometimes they run off a good 10 meters to the boundary for no reason at all. If you set up automatic fielding, players will drop catch after catch after catch until you turn fielding back to manual. That was both a gameplay problem but also an AI problem. As with every game, AI players have gotten just a bit smarter, but it's just a little. Fielders will still throw as hard as they can even when batters are inside the crease, conceding overthrows. AI batsmen are pretty smart, being aggressive in shorter formats and watchful in test matches, but they still aren't totally bulletproof. There are times when batsmen will defend an entire over even when the required run rate is ridiculously high. AI bowlers are definitely the smartest. They don't keep bowling the same ball even after getting hit. They bowl according to the field most of the time. They use variations and tactics similar to real life. What I mean is they won't bowl Yorker after Yorker on the first day of a test match because that doesn't make any sense. One of the most advertised additions is to commentary, with Michael Atherton, who has become one of the more popular modern commentators. I mean, him and Nasser Hussain probably do more commentary than anyone else now. Sadly, Cricket 22 doesn't have Nasser, but we have got Ian Healy, who's an iconic commentator. Every time I hear him, I feel like it's the late 2000s again. Mel Jones has returned. David Gower, who's awesome to say the least, has also been included. So 22 has a star-studded commentary team, no doubt, but have they recorded enough lines for the game to not feel repetitive? Only time will tell. 19 had Michael Slater, James Taylor and Mel Jones, which was impressive, but 22 almost doubled the amount of commentators and with awesome ones as well. Yet another win for 22. Let's get into batting in depth. Cricket 19 had almost perfect batting. You had almost every shot you'd want, animations were accurate, but there were a few issues. For instance, some shots were way too risky, while some were way too safe. That would be fine if a defensive shot is safer than a lofted one, but cover drives were risky. Even if it was a half volley, you had a 50-50 chance of getting out, while the flick almost never got you out. So I ended up playing only on the leg side. 22 has more of a balance. Even when you're playing on the hardest difficulty, traditional shots have a very realistic balance between risk and reward. Sure, you will nick it to the slips if you're trying to drive a ball that is clearly not meant to be driven. And the flick isn't a completely safe shot either. If you try to flick the wrong ball, you will get out. 19 had another problem wherein even if you do everything right, perfect timing, footwork and shot selection, even then you'll get out, which makes no sense and is incredibly frustrating. How can you get out to a ball you played perfectly? I haven't faced any such issues in 22 so far. The game has a lot of in-between shots as well, like the flamingo shot that Kevin Peterson made popular, where it's not a flick but neither is it something else. Some shots are just beautiful. The reverse sweep looks prettier than a cover drive in this game, but they still haven't quite nailed the straight drive. It's such a beautiful shot, but not one cricket game has managed to replicate that, all the way back from 2002 to now. All they need to do is pick one of the many great straight and on drives Sachin has played and try to animate them. But we have yet another cricket title without a solid straight drive. Both 19 and 22 have great shot animations, but it's just that 22 has a few more shots for the player to choose. So 22 has a better batting mechanics as well. Bowling is pretty much the same, a few new actions have been included, but it's almost the same thing with just a little more polish. The aftertouch option, for example. The presentation is a little more cleaner, but gameplay wise, I think edges have been improved the most. They make sense almost always. There are no inside edges that go to second slip or a thin edge going off to the boundary in front of the wicket like it was middle. 22 hasn't improved all that much. I'd say 19 and 22 have equally good bowling systems. I think it's safe to say Cricket 22 is the better game. I mean, it's better in almost every aspect we have seen today, at least to my eyes. It looks way better, which is expected, first cricket title on next gen and all. Gameplay isn't flawless, but Big Ant Studios have improved a lot in various aspects, especially adding quite a lot of new animations. Well, that's it for today. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed this one. Chances are you'll enjoy most things on the channel and also future uploads. Like, comment, share and all that. Thanks for watching and have a great day wherever you are.